Hey, it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful empowered harmonizers. We are zooming in and focusing in a little bit more in depth on a brilliant viewer question, and that is to really look at and understand the role of envy and jealousy in a covert narcissist relationship. When we were talking and looking at a covert narcissist, we're really looking at a personality disorder. Number one, that's plagued by someone who has an insatiable need or pathological sense of self-importance, coupled with an empathy deficit. So we've got really two main issues, really from which everything else stems forth. A pathological sense of self-importance coupled with a lack of empathy. So meaning that it's always really, everything is going to be about them, and there is an insatiable need for them to have power, control, and status in a relationship. Status meaning, i.e., look up to me, i.e., I have the power, I have the control, I pull the strings, I call the shots, you must get approval from me, you must seek my approval, my validation, yet coupled with a lack of empathy. So simultaneously, it kind of nullifies one in of itself out. In other words, if you are in a relationship with someone who is a covert narcissist, who wants you to mirror back to them not only how good they are, how important they are, how significant, etc., good looking, all that stuff, but yet they have a lack of empathy, so they're not really able to understand your needs, where you're coming from, and then validate it. It becomes really, really, as you progress in the relationship, you become a feeling of an egoist or empty, or really under the guise of brainwashing and gaslighting in this relationship, because your thought pattern becomes disturbed. Your sense of self becomes disturbed. It becomes distorted. You're meant to feel like you're crazy, you're inadequate, you don't have it all, you don't have what it takes. This, the good life will never happen for you. You are missing something. It's this sort of toxic shame. It's a toxic feeling of unworthiness, that you are not lovable. And it's because they're not able, because of their own, the narcissist, the real sort of dichotomy and the strange, fascinating, and interesting thing is that the covert narcissist, even though on the outside, their persona, they want to put forth, promote, or, set forth that they have it together. They are the authority. They are the talented one. They're always in the act of self-promotion, even if it's a very subtle form of this. But yet, underneath it all is a person who really has a grave sense of insecurity. And they're very threatened by others. They are very threatened by others who have more talent, who are better looking, who might, be able to grow beyond them, might be able to do quote unquote better than them, or be able to show them up. So they're always afraid of their light being dimmed. So the only way that they know how to procure and secure this position for them oftentimes is by dimming the light of others. Turn the switch down, keep you in the dark, keep you, not really being able to shine your light, not being able to communicate, feeling that you are not worthy. And so it is a way for them to self-preserve themselves. Yet the issue, the problem, comes that others end up paying the price for this transaction to occur. In other words, in order to keep them and being basically in the relationship, you enter into a role of supply, or supplying or satisfying their narcissistic needs. And it becomes really a position in the beginning where it becomes a sense of self-sacrifice, denying of one's needs, putting oneself back, in line. In other words, putting them first. Yeah, let me allow you to cut in. Yes, go ahead. It's your needs. Let's take care of you. Let's hear about you. And oftentimes the issue with a covert narcissist, because of this inherent jealousy of others or envy of others, or really not allowing others to have what they need because they did not have this, or they're threatened by that, creates a very, very difficult relationship dynamic within the subconscious interplay between the two. In other words, it's the withholding of the affection. It's the withholding of time. It's the withholding of consideration. They are not able to give that to others because it takes away from them. In other words, they're not able to fill up your jar. They're constantly only trying to fill up your jar. They're not giving you the information, the knowledge, the support, the eye contact. We talk about how important all these basic things are, but yet this individual almost feels like they only want to associate with specific others who are of like status. And so there's this feeling, or there's this tone, or there's this sense that they are always better than you, more authority, more intelligent, and that they're reserving or withholding this, for something or another time, or it just is all kind of reserved for them, and that they're just going to go along and retreat and do whatever it is that they need to do, and they just expect others to comply and begin to go above and beyond, stick their neck out for this individual. In other words, this is how they get their needs met. In other words, if I remain passive enough, eventually someone else will get it done. If I am quiet enough, eventually someone else will speak up and take on responsibility. If I go and retreat enough, if I, keep my mouth shut and sort of stonewall, others will end up having to carry the burden and do the communication. In other words, everyone else has to really become and take care of the dirty work. And the issue, especially in the love bombing, is to understand the dynamic that in the very relationship, in the beginning of the relationship, oftentimes individuals are meant to feel that, well, it's an honor, to be able to, or I have the ability to take care of this person. So you then have the gratification of being able to satisfy their needs in the relationship. But when it really begins to go awry, when it really becomes a disease and an illness, and you really hit your breaking point, when the strings have been pulled too tight and you hit your rock bottom, when you've had enough is enough, is when you really sort of feel unacknowledged, invisible, and that you have not really lived your life. You really feel like I've been given a life to live, but I have not lived it. I have tried too hard to live another's life. No matter how hard you try, you cannot live another life for another. You cannot live somebody's life for them. You cannot be responsible for all of their needs. You cannot save their soul. You cannot try, because what's end up happening is very subconsciously the role of the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind really performs 98% of our everyday ongoing. So whether it's your lungs breathing right now, taking a deep breath, that is the subconscious mind, which is breathing. We enter a little bit into the realm of the subconscious when we begin to watch our breath. We begin to take a deep breath. So you're entering into the awareness or the consciousness and really begin to direct that. So the subconscious mind really directs 98% of the ongoings in our body, and only 2% is really in our conscious awareness. So it is to understand that in the subconscious mind is where the covert narcissist relationship really has its talents, really has its input, really has its impact. So it is there in the subconscious mind that we need to extract the talents, extract the control, extract the hard wiring which has gotten in there and then controlled and then had its influence in order to maintain the relationship. So in other words, in the subconscious mind, also not only is it through those repeated images, through the repeated working through of the relationship, that yes, it's an honor, and I will put myself behind or third, or I'll put myself last in line so I can take care of this person. You unequivocally and subconsciously begin to agree to the acceptance and understanding that you will sacrifice your needs for theirs. So you become, little by little, it erodes away, it chips away at your valuation of self, your sense of self-importance, your own human rights, your own sense of purpose, your own sense of meaning, the ability to live your own life and be able to be free to live your own life, which is inalienable. It is, it is a God-given, you are given this life to live, and live it fully is your marching orders. Yet these marching orders get befuddled and get sabotaged and get decimated and get really denied when you're in a relationship with a covert narcissist, because unequivocally, unspoken, you agree to the terms that yes, we must make sure that all your needs are satisfied because you're the one here. In other words, it becomes a sort of self-annihilation, what I call emotional asphyxiation. It's an agreed to contract or understanding, whether it's this person's a family figure, a spouse, a sibling, a community, a boss, a colleague. It's the unerring wavering, to this understanding. And so it really hits a breaking point when you really begin to feel that I have been given a life to live and I have not lived it. Something is wrong here. Something is awry. I'm paying the price and it's too much. And I'm paying the price for someone else's life, and enough is enough. I cannot pay that price anymore. It is too painful. My needs matter. My life matters. I have meaning here. I have purpose. I have passion. I am going to recover this like a buried treasure that's been just found lost at sea. And you're like, let me haul this puppy out. Let me, haul this bad boy out and bring out this big hunk of something, which is really myself. And let me dust it off. Let me get it out. Let me, pull it out with a crane and extract it from the talons of this relationship. Extract it out from the depths of this relationship where it's been unseen, unacknowledged, unvalidated. My life hasn't really even been on the map. Let me haul this booty out, B-O-O-T-Y, like, a treasure trove, which is you, that big treasure trove, that treasure chest, that is you. It's like pulling it out from underneath the muck, underneath the depths of the ocean, where it's been sort of, like pushed off. I use a lot of analogies. I just need, because I want to get an image to you. It's been pushed off the side of a big boat and like lost miles in depth at sea, and now you've just discovered it on the ocean floor. It's like, whoa, radar, hone, like, you found, you're paying attention to something within yourself, and that is, I matter, and my life has meaning, and, something is just telling me to get away, that I'm fighting for my life now. I need to breathe. It's like you've pulled your head up from underneath a spigot of water where you could not breathe because the water was rushing so hard you were almost drowning, and you need to yank your head up. That is how serious your life becomes when you have become inextricably trauma bonded and in a post-traumatic stress syndrome with a pathological relationship, with a covert narcissist, with a psychopath. I mean, you can be so emotionally, psychologically, physiologically hijacked that you are like in that emotionally drowning pool. You are either drugging yourself, drinking yourself, eating yourself. What the heck am I doing here? This is madness. You're like, somebody like put a tracking number on me because I'm out of here, and I need to keep track of myself. I mean, it becomes that serious. It becomes that severe. And to be the target of a smear campaign, to have bad things told about yourself, whispered, in your ear, the little of a knife in your back, little by little, trying to etch away and just trying to stab you in the back. A constant, beating you down, sabotaging you, making you feel as if, you are, you have to pay more of a price, and it's for them, attention to them, a pathological need for attention. In other words, if it's eyes only, drop everything and look at me, the malignant narcissist. And a lot of people say, peace and harmony, this feels criminal. When it's very severe, it does have the feeling of criminology. It does, what they get away with is a violation of the law. There's an unspoken law, and really that is your own internal guiding system, which gets violated. It really is, it's like putting you in emotional prison. It's trying to say, yep, here you go, lock yourself in. And they get you to the point where you end up locking your own self in the prison and agreeing to it. That's really kind of what that making yourself small and bowing down to the pathology of a covert narcissist is saying, you're right, I am your supply, I am your servant, I am your indentured this. So it is to, it is to now, the healing is to release yourself and to say, I'm no longer playing that game. I'm no longer locking myself down like that. I'm no longer I'm no longer going to allow myself to be the target of this. I'm stepping out of the aim, I'm stepping out of the arrow's way. I'm no longer abiding by or agreeing to be set and treated in this manner. So it is to understand then that the envy and the pathology there really becomes that of self-sabotaging. And so you have to, and then it's internalized. In other words, you'll find yourself self-sabotaging when you're trying to emanate or grow from the relationship. In other words, that malignant person has done such a great job of trying to imprint on you that you're not worthy, that you then internalize it and then begin to do it to yourself. Hence, we see the self-harming behaviors, self-sabotage. I can't study. I won't go to college. I won't read this book. I won't go and try to make some good friends. I won't eat healthy. I won't save my money. I won't feel good about myself. I'll feel miserable. I'll, resort to a life of this. I'll resort to a life of that. You begin to have all these statements going on in your head. It's all because you've swallowed that self-annihilation pill that the covert narcissist has unequivocally, energetically caused you to agree upon. So I want you to understand that this is a learned state. So the good news is that this feeling less than is a learned state. You've learned to feel this way in the relationship. This is a huge aha moment. Can I get an amen? Woo! Okay, I hope you guys are all with me to understand that this was a learned state. You had to learn to be less than in order to survive or maintain this relationship. In order to enable the relationship, you had to agree to these terms. In other words, I will not have my needs met. I will not be heard. I will not be seen. I will not receive eye contact. I will not receive affection. I will not receive nurturing. I will not receive a good match for me energetically. So you're unequivocally, saying that is what you learned in order to survive during this stage in your life. This might have been when you were 0, 1, 5 through 7. It might be 7 through 16. It might be 16 through 25. It might be 25 to 35. It might be 35 to 45, 45 to 55, 55 to 65. You might be struggling with this in your 70s and going, OMG, peace and harmony, we're still at it over here. So it's unequivocally, it's time to release that and saying, I understand that was a learned state. Okay, I learned to feel afraid. I learned to feel less than. I learned that I had to suppress my happiness. I learned that I had to be unhappy. I had to learn to, and I learned and could not focus. I was not given the space to be able to focus. I learned I was not given the space to just breathe easily. I learned that I had to live in sort of a low self-esteem state. I had to learn that. That is what was imprinted upon me. But that was once upon a time. So that was just during that period of time in order to survive, or that was my understanding. I mean, that was then, but this is now. So it's to understand really that the why, the cause has created this effect. It is to understand that the covert narcissist, because of their pathological sense of self-importance coupled with a lack of empathy, they create this habitat, they create this environment, they create this culture, they create this climate where this relationship dynamic is going, and there's always, you have to look up, and they have what it takes, you don't. They have where they're going to go where you want, and in life they're going to pursue, and you might as well follow in their path, and you might as well otherwise sit still. And then that's why you see this plateau, and we see the reoccurrence and the repetition the repetition and the rehearsing and rememorizing of this negative state, because your mind is still playing an image. Your mind is still playing the reel of the loop of the brainwashing and the gaslighting. So you're still, your body has held onto this feeling state and this identity based on this event or series of events that occurred. So it might have been one huge event where your body go, yep, I'm done in. And then you just gave it all up from there on out. It might have been one big event for you. It might have been a series of events. It might have been a series of people. It might have been a series of situations where then you said, yep, I'm done in for, it's never going to happen for me. So you unequivocally learned, and then you then rehearsed and rememorized this feeling. I am nothing. I am a nobody. This is the subconscious mind. This is the power of the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind, to understand its power, it'll run in very quick snippets, i.e. very, like almost as small as a fortune cookie, a little thing. You are magnificent. It'll run on that snippet. It'll also run on an image. For example, the image of a bubble bath, an old-fashioned tub steaming with warm bubbles with steam curling over it and bubbles flowing over, and then it just looks very inviting. That is an image that resonates with your subconscious mind. So you go, ooh, after a hard day of work, or you're filthy, or just a really beautiful bar of soap. It's just these are the images. Your mind resonates with images and snippets. It's so important. We're going to say it again. Your mind, your subconscious mind, the driving power, the hard drive, the power, the rocket fuel, the kryptonite, the nuclear fusion, whatever you want to call it, that which drives your energy, your subconscious mind, that baby who keeps your heart beating, amen, that keeps your eyes looking around, that keeps you blinking, that keeps you breathing, that, keeps you kind of moving your shoulders or, walking, and you don't have to say right, left, right, left, right, left. That is the power of your subconscious mind. And that baby is doing all the work for you. You don't have to give it a command. But your identity, your feel state, your be state is also going to be in there as well. So that means your I am. Write it on a fortune cookie. Write it on a piece of paper. Write it on cut up some fortune. This is a great exercise. In fact, I'm going to incorporate this in the book that I'm writing right now. I would highly recommend taking a simple plain piece of paper and then cut off like 8 little sheets and then write your commands to your subconscious mind. I am magnificent. I am prosperous. I am abundant. I am glorious. I am joy. I am bliss. I am inspiration. I am beautiful. I am empowered. I am clarity. I am truth. I am passion. I am perseverance. I am joyful. I am friendly. My life is filled with abundance and positive, healthy relationships. These are your fortunes. These are your commands. That is what your subconscious mind will act upon when you feed it, when you give it commands. But if you give it the command, if you take that same 8 by 11 sheet of paper, cut it up into 8, and you write, I am miserable. I am ridiculous. I am horrible. I am disgusting. I am terrible. I am unlovable. I am ugly. And you keep repeating this over and over and over and over again, and you keep giving yourself the command, I am stupid. I will never make it. I deserve to be hit. I deserve to be slapped. I am worthless. I am painful. I am ridiculous. I'm a burden. If you're living your life on those commands and you're looking at that, you're unrolling that little piece of paper, I am stupid, and you're telling yourself that, and you're rehearsing and rememorizing that in your body day in and day out, and you're doing that for days, weeks, months, and years, and your identity is where it is, that is the cause that's created the effects in your life right now. So it's to say, whoa, we put the brakes in the car. It's time to say, we're stopping right now. It's time to give some healthier commands to the subconscious mind, and then live your day with and in that field state, that positive, powered, empowered state, so you can enter into positive, orderly direction thinking. We're going to wrap it up here, but we're going to develop more video on this topic. Please, this is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.